Hello, welcome to Grocery Dad, and welcome to another 5 convenience foods that you really ought to avoid when you're at the grocery store. Now, in this, the third video of its kind, we'll be looking at yet more products that you might be buying in the name of convenience that are really bad for you and really bad for your wallet. Yet, we keep on buying them, folks, which I guess is why the grocery stores keep on stocking them. However, the good news is the alternatives are generally not as time consuming or hard to make as most people tend to think. So we'll look at those homemade alternatives and we'll call out another 5 dirty, lousy, rotten, no good convenience products you should really be keeping your hands off. So let's get stuck in to product number 1 on today's list. These rice pot things are an absolutely classic example of the convenience fallacy. Now, the convenience fallacy is about how we'll often trade money for time, even when the cost to us is extreme and the time saving is nominal. We're going to come back to that in a moment, but first though, what about these rice pots? You know those little plastic pots of pre-cooked rice often come with some other stuff mixed in? And the promise of a quick microwave meal in less than 2 minutes. What's really in these things? Well, along with your rice, you often find delightful artificial flavours, maybe some preservatives like sodium benzoate and stabilisers like xanthan gum. Beautiful. These tasty little extras are what keep it fresh and stop it from going gooey and disgusting when it's sitting on a shelf. Lovely. This one's brilliant. It's called chicken style rice. I mean, what the hell does that even mean? Because there is 0 chicken in this pot. But there is plenty of salt, as in something like 1/3 of your daily requirement if you were to chow through both of them, which is pretty likely because they're tiny. But let's break down the cost here for a minute as well. One of these will set you back something like $3 or $4. So that's about $1.60 per 100 grams. And let's be clear, a bag of rice costs about 40 cents per 100 grams. And you cook that up, you'll be making yourself 6 meals, maybe 8, maybe 10, maybe even more. And time-wise, all it's going to take you is about 15 minutes. All you're going to need is rice, water, maybe a pinch of salt, but you can easily stick some veg in there as well if you want to sex it up a little bit. Cook it in bulk, store it in the fridge, Bob's your uncle. And he's laughing too, because you just save yourself a shitload of money. Okay then, on to number 2 today, which is the sort of stuff you might add to your rice, and that is a packet sauce. Now you go on Walmart.com right now and you will find literally hundreds of these damn things under sauce packet. And I'm going to stick my neck out here and tell you that they're all shit. Overpriced, full of weird ingredients, and not even that nice or tasty to eat. So just picking one at random. McCormick slow cooker savoury pot roast seasoning mix. Bit of a mouthful, pretty good customer rating, plus no fewer than 21 individual ingredients. The really funny bit about this product though, apart from the ingredient list that reads like a book and the price of $2.25 per ounce, is the guidance on the packet that says meal is ready in approximately 60 minutes. Well folks, if you're putting that much effort in, then why in God's name aren't you making your own sauce? Onions, garlic, water, stock, butter, maybe some corn flour, that's it. Please, please do that instead. It will be a revelation for you. And while we're on the subject of revelations, have you got other convenience products that you steer clear of at the store? I'll bet you have. So why not stick them in the comments, and that way everyone has a heads up on the crap that they should be giving a miss to. Give it a go. For number 3 now, we're going into that kind of snacking part of the store, but not the stuff that's overtly going to make you fat. I'm talking here about that new area where everything's been made out to be really healthy and good for you. That's where you might find protein balls. One of the biggest modern con jobs in the entire grocery store, marketed as a healthy snack, but a massive convenience trap. They too can be packed with artificial sweeteners like sucralose, not to mention fillers like soy protein isolate and palm oil. And what about the price? Holy shit, this stuff is expensive. One of the best I've come across down here has to be this one. It's called Snacks, with 2 X's, $15.50 per 100 grams. And it's not even made. You have to mix it at home yourself. Like, they might as well just come around and steal your wallet and your car while they're at it. Anyway, let's try the homemade alternative instead. You mix some oats, some peanut butter, some honey, some protein powder if you like. Then you add in your seeds or dried fruit for texture, press it all into a pan and stick it in the fridge overnight. All your own ingredients, no surprises there, at a fraction of the price that those thieving bastards are charging you. And Your own secret hack here is batch cooking. So you've got more to eat in the coming days that's going to save you yet more time and more money down the track. It's like magic. Now, before we get on to number 4 in this week's list of convenience products you should be avoiding, which you should definitely stick around for, by the way, because it's an absolute gem, let's understand quickly why any of this matters. And aside from the obvious health benefits of making these products yourself, it has a lot to do with the relationship you have between time and money and convenience. Now, you've probably worked this out for yourself a long, long time ago. But just to be clear, when you're considering buying something that's a more convenient option, you're basically considering exchanging your money for time, like going to the car wash instead of doing the job yourself. You pay a dude some money to do something for you so you get some time back. Or, in this case, you buy some rice in a pot and save some of your own time that way because you don't have to cook it. But the problem arises here because most of the time we don't have a very good handle on exactly how much money or time is available to us when we're buying things. And nor are we very good at putting a value on our time in order to help us make good buying decisions. So, in the case of a rice pot, you think you might have saved yourself, I don't know, something like 10 minutes. And to be fair, you've still had to go to the store and buy the thing in the first place. But that aside, the money you've spent is maybe 5 times or 6 times what a home-cooked portion of rice would cost you. Now, if you think you're wealthy enough not to have to care about that equation, good for you. But for the rest of us, well, if we carry on making that kind of exchange, I think there's a very good chance we'll never get to be the really wealthy person we wish we were. So something I do that you might want to try is to just think a bit more about how much I'm being charged for my time in the short run and how much better value for money I'll get in the long run by passing in on that convenience option. And if I stop and just think about that for a couple of seconds more, very often it'll steer me away from the convenience option because I'll realise it's not a great deal. Okay, so back we come to number 4 on today's list of convenience items to avoid. And I told you this one was a little smasher. And it is, right? So here we go. I don't even know exactly what you call this, aside from ridiculous and absurd. Maybe entertaining snack packs, something like that. This is the sort of thing that I guess you might buy if you're having friends around. You know, being all grown up and entertaining, and you're too busy to cut some cheese and sausage into little pieces. Yes, that's right, folks. You're too busy to cut up some cheese. And if that is you, then you deserve to be paying the $22.50 a kilo they're charging. But bear in mind, a block of cheddar probably costs less than half of that. And on top of all of that, it's got an ingredients deck, again, as long as your arm. Most of which is coming from that funky sausage stuff, to be fair. But look, I guess if you're catering for 500 people, then yeah, the money versus time equation probably works out a little bit better on this one. But if it's just like Pam and Steve from next door coming round, then seriously, have a word with yourself and do what normal people do, okay? All right then, that brings us to the 5th and final product on today's list, which is pretty much anything that says lunchbox or kids lunch or lunchbox for kids or any other combination of those words. All of that stuff is designed basically to prey on every parent's inherent desire not to have to think about what to put in their kids' lunch every day of the week. So you have Lunchables and Uncrustables and lunch kits and snackers, and it goes on and on and on. And you look a bit closer, it just gets worse. Because take this one as an example, obviously aimed at children, but the trick is the nutritional information is based on the daily requirements for a female adult. So bear that in mind, because apparently this one little pack contains 21% of a woman's saturated fat requirement and 16% of her sodium. So for a child of 8 or 9 years old, that could be more like 40% of their recommended daily intake in this one little pack of rubbish. God knows, this stuff is tempting. I stand there in the kitchen with my wife, making packed lunches every morning, and it's seriously a challenging moment. Trying to keep it interesting for them, but still make it healthy and do it quickly. But one thing for sure, this plastic package shortcut bullshit is not the answer, folks. If you can batch cook homemade stuff like cookies and brownies and banana bread, or savouries like macaroni in like a tomato sauce that you put in one of those little thermos pots to keep it warm till lunch, you'll be doing them a massive favour as far as their future blood pressure and cholesterol are concerned, and you'll have more money in the bank to spend on the Little Smashers Christmas presents later in the year. So there you have it, people. Another 5 convenience foods that you should definitely be avoiding at the grocery store. Check out the playlist for my other 5 foods to avoid specials, and if you like this one, please give it a like. If you really liked it, consider subscribing and find out what next week's little gem of a video is all about. Take care.